Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons, where you can sign up to be a member of the Shannons Club, your local Holden certified service centre, Pace Farm the enjoyable egg, and Heron Forbes Machinery House, where you can buy online.
G'day, I'm Fletch, and welcome to the show. Today I have something incredible to share with you. Real footage of the police car chases on Australian television that most of us grew up with. So why not grab your favourite chair for this week's Classic Restos.
Crawford Productions, an Australian media production company focused on radio and television production many years ago. It was founded in Melbourne by Hector Crawford and his sister, actress and voice artist Dorothy Crawford. Founded exclusively as a radio production company in 1945, Crawford Productions then specialised in drama, light entertainment and educational programs. When broadcast television was introduced to Australia in 1956, Crawford Productions was one of the few Australian radio production houses to successfully transition to the new medium. In the 1960s and 70s, Crawford Productions were responsible for some of the best Aussie homegrown cop shows, TV shows that many of us grew up with, etched into our minds forever. Today's episode of Classic Restos is just a small tribute to the success of Crawford Productions. It's about the memories and how their TV shows became common ground in the lounge rooms of thousands of Australians. Thanks to Crawford Productions, I have exclusive permission to show you as many scenes as I can during this next 26 minutes. Keep in mind, you can purchase what you see at crawfordsdvd.com.au.
There's just something about police car chases on television. We all love them. Most of the police cars here in this scene are Valiants, and Chrysler gave the cars to Crawfords, and virtually no permission was granted for tearing around the streets of Melbourne, although the streets were blocked off for filming. The Hemi 265 was Australia's most powerful six-cylinder engine back in the day, so I believe there's no better way to start than a few scenes from Bluey.
Seatbelt, Sarge.
I want to get out in a hurry.
This next Crawford's production ran for 7 seasons between the 28th of November 1977 and the 23rd of July 1984. Actors Terry Norris, Paula Duncan, Gil Ticker and John Orczyk just to name a few, portrayed everyday operations of both the uniformed police officers and the plainclothes detectives of the fictional Riverside Police Station. And of course, there were always plenty of falcons, valiants, statesmen, tyrannas and more. So, thanks to Crawfords, here's Cop Shop. You were the young cop that tried really hard. I think, and the term affectionately is very apt for the role because you were, well, almost like kind of like too nice to be a cop.
Yeah. Well, my theory was that, you know, there's probably someone like that at every police station. In fact, police often said, we've got a Roy Baker down at our station, you know. My character was a very likeable character, but there were wonderful characters in it. You know, Peter Adams, who played JJ, you know, he said there's never anything in the fridge, only food. And the girls were great, you know, the glamorous girls. They were fantastic, and they were very kind to me. And a lot of us, we were young. Remember what it was when you were young? I mean, the world was your oyster.
Being the cop in Cop Shop as Roy Baker, you had plenty of times where you're out in the cars, and I think mainly probably one of the more common ones was the white XC Falcon. We've got a shot up on screen now where you were sitting in behind the wheel and all the camera gear was wrapped around the car. I think the average person doesn't know the extent of work effort that goes into setting up a vehicle for these shots. Now, can you remember that day? Can you remember sitting there behind the wheel for that shot?
Well, I can remember sitting behind the wheel for a lot of shots, and that would have been one of them, obviously.
The white XC Falcon mentioned, look, it was a pretty well a brand new car back in the time, and I know there must have been a few of them, and obviously nice to drive. You enjoyed driving those Falcons?
Absolutely, mate. They were great to drive, but very responsive too, even for their time.
Gil, I've got to ask you, can you go into character for us? Can you do a line off the show, like, you know, talk to Terry Norris? Go into character for us. I want you to wind the clock back for us, Gil.
Senior Sergeant O'Reilly. Now, look, I have a few people here I'd like to report to you. One of them came in the other day, and I think he's a problem. He is. He's got a very, very strange anatomy, and I think that we need it looked into.
I spend a lot of time out here. The RT Charger's the real deal. An E49. Remember A Charger? I've always got projects on the go, so Shannon's laid up cover helps protect my restorations. I'm Mopar through and through. It's a passion Shannon's understands. I wouldn't insure my cars and bikes with anyone else.
Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
When it comes to cars, there are some brands that will remain with us forever, no matter what. The Holden was always Australia's own car, held high in the hearts of many. Those lines, that chrome, the stories around them, and the people that owned them. From the classic through to the final, you can still trust in genuine Holden and AC Delco parts, available through the Holden Certified Service Network. Next up, another iconic Australian television police drama series made by Crawford Productions for the Nine Network between 1969 and 1975, and it spanned 301 episodes. Time now for Division 4.
Pinkston.
The next series dealt with the homicide squad of the Victorian Police Force and the various crimes and cases the detectives are called upon to investigate. Many of these episodes were based directly on real cases. This next TV show ran from the 20th of October 1964 to January 1977, with 510 episodes produced. Looking back, there's just something about Leonard Teale, George Mallaby, Alywn Kurt and Norman Yem, just to name some. Time for Homicide.
Yes, send all available units.
What was it like back in the days to work for some of the Australian TV show greats like Matlock Police and Cop Shop and the Crawford productions? What was that like, Tony?
Well, it was interesting, Fletch, at that period. You're talking now back in the late 60s, 70s and 80s when I did guest leads in all those shows, the great Homicide 2-hour specials, obviously Cop Shop, the Division 4, Solo. It was a great period. All the cameramen were learning their trade, the editors and directors were learning their trade. It was one of the great schools, as it were, that Hector Crawford put this group of people together with some very fine producers to produce all these shows for the various networks in Australia.
Everybody loves the classic cars, and the cars that were used back in the time, they were pretty well stock standard vehicles that were given to Crawfords by Chrysler, by Ford, or by General Motors Holden. What was it like on set seeing those cars get put through what they got put through for the TV shows?
Well, it was, again, the actors, certainly I drove a lot of my own stunts up until they became really serious stunts where there was spinning, sliding involved. Then a professional stuntman would step in to take over those scenes. And only when those scenes became kind of dangerous that a professional stuntman would then step in and take over.
Every weekend around Australia, motoring enthusiasts get together to share their passion for cars and bikes. It's a passion that brings us together. All sorts of people, all sorts of cars and bikes. From the classics of today to the classics of tomorrow. At Shannons, we understand enthusiasts. So when it comes to insurance, it's got to be Shannons. Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
They may not be making the classic Holden anymore, but the legacy lives on. You can still have a Holden certified service using genuine Holden and AC Delco quality parts at over 180 centres across Australia. Go to holden.com.au to find your nearest centre. Book your Holden in, maintain the pride.
And of course, if you own a classic, it goes without saying, it just has to be insured with Shannons. Why not pick up the phone and give Shannons a call for a quote and a chat on 134646. And the Shannons Club awaits you. For more information, visit shannons.com.au. One of my favourites that aired Thursday nights at 7:30 p.m. featured Michael Pate, Grigor Taylor, Vic Gordon and Paul Cronin, just to mention a few Aussie greats. And it ran from 1971 to 1976. Time now for some great scenes as we wind the clock back, remembering this tune that played through our lounge rooms from Matlock Police.
Put your foot down.
Next up, an Australian adventure television series, screened by the 7 Network from the 27th of May 1973, running 39 one-hour episodes. It was about the daily life of a private investigator, played by Rod Mullinar. It's time now for Ryan. How good was that? A tribute to Crawford Productions. And you can buy the episode DVD sets at crawfordsdvd.com.au. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next week, no matter where you're watching Classic Restos from, please ride and drive safe. I'm Fletch. Thanks for watching.
You can like and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/ClassicRestosTV and watch catch-up episodes at shannons.com.au. Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons, where you can sign up to be a member of the Shannons Club, your local Holden certified service centre, Pace Farm the enjoyable egg, and Heron Forbes Machinery House, where you can buy online.